What to do, y'all? Back in the garage with another video, man. And shoot, I'm on my grind again, y'all, man. I feel like I'm always in the garage on my days off, man. But the life of a car guy, you know, and the passion to get it done. But man, I feel like what the title says, man. Car game stressful. Trying to get this thing done. Ended up finding out yesterday I have a leak somewhere in my caddy. The floorboard on the driver's side. The carpet was like totally soaked. I lifted up the carpet. The under pad insulation was all soaked. Luckily, there's no rust, but I'm not sure how long it's been leaking. It looks pretty recent since everything in there is still fairly clean, just wet. I think it is coming from either the windshield or somewhere in the cowl area. I have to investigate more. I'm probably going to take off the cowl where the air goes in and kind of look in there and kind of see if I can see anything possibly where it would get in and leak. But if not, I'm probably going to have to take it to like Safelite or a glass specialist or something like that. To kind of shoot, man, that wind caught that tarp. I thought somebody was trying to creep up on me or something. But anyways, yeah, so I'm probably going to, well, now I'm going to have to deal with the caddy. So just add another thing to the list to do. And I'm probably going to have to get that done fairly quickly since it's been raining a lot here lately. We're in the rainy season. But I'm trying to get this done on the electric fan. So I know I posted a video earlier on my last video in regards to the fans. I did a more research because I actually really want both the fans to work. And the way that the relays are ran, I know that they're ran in a series where they can both run at low and high. It just really confused me on how to run the wires. And I know you can run the wires certain ways where like one fan will work and the other one work. But I know this particular fan setup, the way these relays are installed, they're ran in a series where they can run low and high speed. So I did some more research and I actually found quite a bit of research on it and some Intrepid groups and things like that. So let me flip this camera around here so I can kind of show you guys what I found out. All right, y'all, so with these fans here, there's actually, you can hook up these fans in a lot of different ways and they'll run. You know, they'll either spin forward or backwards or whatever. That's just kind of how the way they're routed and how they work. So anyways, these particular fans, from what I found out, actually have a set of relays already wired in. And so from my understanding, and I did a lot of research last night on the Dodge Intrepids, there's different versions of them, just like any other car. From my understanding, the 3.5 versions and up, I think they call them like the SD or the HD options or engine options or whatever. I'm not sure what that stands for, heavy duty or whatever. They came with this particular fan. And so either you have a 5-blade fan or a 6-blade fan. And the 6-blade, they actually both work really well. I guess the 6-blade fan actually came with these relays already wired in and mounted just like this on the fan assembly. And I am not sure if these are the only relays that are in the car controlling. I don't think that they are. I think there's probably another set of relays where these wires had ran to and also connected to the PCM. So supposedly, or not supposedly, these relays are ran in series so they can run at low speed and high speed both at the same time. And that's what I originally wanted, and that's what I thought that these did. Being I had never had these fans before, I was just kind of thinking that that's how they ran, and they were 2-speed, and that's what they did. So, but in testing these wires and testing the fans, sometimes one fan will run, sometimes the other fan will run. If I wired them a different way, sometimes they would both run, sometimes they'd run at different speeds, whatnot. Sometimes they wouldn't even run at all. But at the end of the day, to make a long story short, I just ultimately didn't have them wired up correctly. Now, I did have them wired up at one point or another correctly as I was testing them, but at that time I did not know how they were supposed to be ran, and until I actually did some even further research and found a good amount of information on these last night. the PCM on the regular Dodge Intrepid actually controls the fans, and the way that you're supposed to correctly route these particular fans. So the black wires are the grounds. So these are just grounded in. You can ground these together, whatnot, as long as they're ground. And then you have your green and yellow wire. And I had already figured out that the yellow wire was tied in to the high-speed part of the fan. So I had already figured that out before. So, but doing my research yesterday, I guess by having the two grounds grounded, the green wire is what controls the low speeds. And so as soon as the PCM reads that the engine coolant temp sensor is at a certain temperature or whatever, let's say 180 degrees, then it kicks both fans on at a low speed. And let's just say the next temperature is 200 or whatnot. So when it hits 200, then what it does at low speed, if it's at low speed, it sends 12 volts to this green wire right here, and that's what kicks on the low speed. So at 180 degrees, it kicks these on. Let's just say at 200, then once the PCM reads that, then it sends a separate 12 volts to this lead, the yellow, and that's the high, and then it'll kick on both fans at a high speed. And then once it reaches its cooling temp, and it's, you know, let's say it cuts off at 190 degrees, it just cuts off the high speed, and then it goes back to low. So long story short, that's what I ended up kind of figuring out on these fans. So when I tested them, when I finally figured out what was up, well, not when I finally figured out what was up, but when I initially tested them this way, and I hooked these up to my Holley setup ECU, the Holley ECU, the directions say that these leads, these are the wires that come from the fan output harness. You're supposed to, these actually ground out the relay and then completes the circuit, then kicks on the fans. So the ways these are routed up, I can't use just these relays alone. For some reason, the ECU for my Holley setup won't kick on the fans with this particular relay setup. Again, I'm not sure why. I'm not a wiring guru or expert, so I don't know the whole ins and outs of it, but I tried it a few different ways and it didn't work. And then once I at some point when I actually had them kind of hooked up, the fans would kind of like try to work. You could just hear the relays kind of like struggling and whatnot. So anyways, I just knew it just wasn't right. So what I did was I just figured out, like, man, there has to be another relay or two in there somewhere to kick on these fans. So what I did was I actually hooked up another relay and tested one side of the fans only. And then, so when I hooked up this relay and tied it all in, and then hooked this lead up, again, this lead from the Holley ECU, again, sends a ground signal to your relay, and then that's what actually basically completes the circuit and then kicks it on. As soon as I was able to do that and hook this relay up to that end and then to these wires here, the fan cut right on, and I only hooked it up to this fan. So yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, that's what worked, and it took me forever to figure this out, but I think I got it down now. So what I'm gonna have to do is just kind of wire all these. I'll probably temporarily just kind of wire them up just to make sure I have it all down and it works solid and be good to go. So what I'll have to do is hook up one relay to the low speed end, and then hook up a separate relay to the high speed end, and then that way when fan 1 kicks on from the Holley ECU, it'll kick on the low speeds. When fan 2 kicks on from the Holley ECU, that's how they label them, fan 1, fan 2 from the Holley ECU, then it'll send that signal to the high-speed end and then run them both. So since they're already ran in series, that's how they're gonna come on. So that's pretty much it, y'all. I just kind of wanted to show you guys kind of what's up. I don't even know if that made sense to you guys. But again, if you have this particular fan set up from an Intrepid that has the 3.5 liter engine and these particular fans with the relays already mounted on the fan assembly itself, you're probably going to have to run another couple separate relays. I even read write-ups where some people were running an additional 3 up to 4 relays for different circumstances like AC and whatnot. So but I think I'll be good with just 2 additional relays in conjunction with the relays that are already mounted there. So basically it is saving me a little time because those are already wired in. I could probably take those off and then just put in my own relays and run them in series, but why do that if they're already set up? I'll just leave it as is. So anyways, I hope that helps. This video was just a lot of me kind of rambling and talking about this, but I wanted to kind of make sure you guys knew, since there's actually a few videos or several videos on Intrepid fans, but a lot of them are different and some of them are confusing. Some of them tell you different things and whatnot. But what I know to be true is what I just told you guys in regards to these particular fans only. So I hope this video helps some people out there. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Like I said, I'm not an electrician by trade. I really kind of get somewhat confused on wiring relays. I kind of know the basics of them, but sometimes I get tripped up, and especially it tripped me up because there's already relays involved, and then wiring an additional couple relays was really throwing me off. And I probably thought about it too much, and maybe that was why, but at the end of the day, I think I got it down. So anyways, hopefully this guys helps you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and attack this, kind of get this done, and then gonna watch this football game, Seahawks Eagles, and then got some other things to do, and then I'll call it a day. So anyways, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, y'all, and we'll holler at you later. Peace.